3 weeks ago, this team left the dock for a day's training and came back without a mast. It was a massive blow, but they bounced back and they were back out on the water the next day. But a few days later, things were looking quite dark once again. After 5 races, they'd failed to put a single point on the board. The prospect of being ejected from the Cup come the 8th of September was looking to be more of a threat. Today is that day. And while we're not entirely sure whether the weather will actually play ball, Alinghi Red Bull Racing are optimistic about their chances of staying in the Cup. With 1 day left for the end of round robin 1, it's the French Orient Express racing team that are at the bottom of the table with just 1 win. If the French can beat the British today and Alinghi lose to the Italians, the Swiss and the French will be on even points. This would mean a sail-off between the two. So while Alinghi have been on a roll over the last week and have found their form, they're not quite out of the woods yet. As a result, there's quite a lot of tension here. But one thing that the Swiss team has become famous for is its noisy dockouts. It's difficult to think of a better way to start the day when you're under this much pressure. Meanwhile, the one thing the French didn't need was more stress. But as the clock counted down towards the start time, the pressure piled on even more. First came some biblical rain that reduced visibility to nothing. Then came some rumbles of thunder, and all boats were sent back to the harbour. But at some point, the French managed to do a nosedive and bury their bow, breaking the deck in the process. So it was back to base for some boat building, as they tried to repair their deck in time for the anticipated restart.
So during testing, during the sailing before the race, we had an issue during a maneuver which required the boat to come back to repair, which the whole team worked on when the boat was here, and right on time we are back on the starting line for the race today.
It really was a race against time, not helped by the fact that they were the first off in their match against Ineos Britannia. But they weren't the only ones feeling the pressure. The crew list this morning revealed that the Americans didn't have co-helmsman Paul Goodison on the crew list. Instead, he'd been replaced by Lucas Calabrese on the port side. Apparently, Goodison had fallen in the cockpit after racing and had been injured. We don't know any more details, but of course we really hope he's okay. So, having raised their heart rates through the roof, the French and the Swiss teams in particular now have to go through it all over again tomorrow. And so do we. See you then.